this is exactly what Steelers fans have been bellowing for, quite frankly, is an outside the Mike Tomlin construct offensive coordinator coming in and putting his newfangled stamp on things.
So after all the talk of Russell Wilson being the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I finally am starting to hear people make the argument for Justin Fields. And even if he isn't the day one starter, I really do believe that as of right now, Fields is the best player and by far has the most upside. But outside of that, there is just so much going on right now with the Steelers. Training camp is in full swing, we are approaching the first preseason game, and there is so much to talk about. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so starting off, with Russell Wilson dealing with some minor injuries and being held out for precautionary reasons, Justin Fields was able to get a ton of reps with the first team, which really at the end of the day worked out for both sides. Cause Russ really doesn't have much to prove at this point in his career, and he got to heal, and Fields got to learn the offense and got to develop some chemistry with some of the main playmakers. The headline of the most recent article by SB Nation was Justin Fields and Russell Wilson shine on day 7 of Steelers camp. So that alone is a great sign. This is pretty much what the article had to say. The Steelers have now been in training camp for a week, and their quarterbacks are definitely one of the biggest stories coming out of it, as most expected. Russell Wilson is starting to get more and more integrated into drills, and Justin Fields is looking sharp as well. Here are the big winners from day 7. Fields had several great throws on Thursday, one in which stood out amongst the rest. He hit fullback Jack Ketto on a pass that he snuck by the ear of linebacker Jeremiah Moon for a completion. The Steelers also ran their first 2-minute drill at camp, which ended with Fields finding George Pickens in the end zone for a score. Wilson had multiple throws of note on the day as well. He found Van Jefferson on a post, who beat Joey Porter Jr. for the catch, and Calvin Austin on a go route that was unfortunately dropped. The quarterback battle has been doing exactly what the Steelers and both quarterbacks were hoping, making each other bring their absolute best to the table every single day. It comes as no surprise that Pickens has looked good, but he had more splash plays than usual on Thursday. He caught a 35-yard bomb from Fields, a nice back shoulder fade downfield from Fields, and then he had another touchdown to put an exclamation point on his day. As for Darnell Washington, the big tight end seems to be getting more targets, which is great to hear. He had a 15-yard catch in the red zone, and he also had a touchdown himself during 7 shots. Then there was this play that got a lot of attention on social media, with Washington gaining separation by launching a linebacker and making the catch after the fact. Washington getting more targets and opportunities in the pass game is one of those rare things where it's basically unanimous that everyone wants to see it and agrees it needs to happen more. Hopefully this carries over into game action. And moving on, the Steelers' most interesting name this summer might not be Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. It's not a star-studded wide receiver or one of the emerging rookies. Instead, it's a fullback and a player who's making an undeniable case to make the 53-man roster. Coming into the summer, no one knew how much the Steelers' offense would lean on the running game. Everyone assumed that 13 personnel and big sets would be a part of the ground and pound attack Pittsburgh was creating under new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. But in 2024, if you guessed there would be a heavy dose of fullback, you'd be making a giant assumption. But you'd be right. One of the most dominant pieces the Steelers have added to their offensive arsenal is the I formation. With Najee Harris lined up in the backfield, a new member of the offense is set up in front of him. The member is fullback Jack Ketto, who has made the formation nearly unstoppable at training camp. If you've got a fullback that can help you, and there's a big picture involved, Smith said, you don't live in a fullback I formation offset, but the advantage you have up. But guys also have to help at other spots. So that is where you see the big picture coming from up here, the experience. So it's important. We have a very good special teams player in Atlanta in Keith Smith. So that was a valuable member of the roster. He was a core teamer, and he was a good fullback and gave you an advantage. So you're just trying to figure that out. It may be some weeks, just like we are talking about multiple tight ends. You might want to have a fullback if it gives you an advantage, but it also has to play into the big picture. And that stuff Mike Tomlin and Danny Smith have to work out as you talk through as a staff. Ketto brings the versatility Smith and the Steelers are looking for in their fullback. At Oregon, he lost count of all the positions he was playing. And with the Steelers, he said he'd line up in the backfield and take snaps if that's what it took to help this team. If you're going to pay me and you want me to play and you're going to give me a shot to get on the team, I'll do anything, Ketto said about his mindset of playing any position and helping out on special teams and offense. The relationship between Ketto and Harris has also grown since the evolution of the fullback within the Steelers offense. Ketto said the two have gotten much closer. partially due to the fact that Harris is fun to block for. On the field though, fans can watch their relationship develop as Harris jogs back to the huddle, celebrating with Ketto after a long run. If Ketto has any competition, it comes against the tight ends. The team could keep as many as 4, with Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, and Pruitt. If Hayward or Pruitt can play fullback, it makes Ketto's route a bit tougher, but trying to count out the former Oregon State standout is especially difficult right now. The Steelers are bringing the fullback back in an offense that looks improved, physical, and ready to run the rock. Ketto is a sleeper, and if the fullback is going to become a household name anywhere in the NFL, it's the city of Pittsburgh. And I know I've said the name a lot, but it very well could end up being Jet Ketto by the end of the season. Anyways, now moving on, I want to get away from training camp and all the players and breakout candidates and talk about the schedule. Playing in the AFC North by itself in 2024 is going to give you a pretty tough slate. The Steelers open up the season against the Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They are a young team with a new QB in Kirk Cousins, and I think this is the perfect opportunity for the Steelers to start the season off on the right foot. This team really sort of needs to reverse the trend from recent years past in the fact that they usually start off slow and then heat up towards the end of the season. Because this year the schedule maker put all the easier games up front, and the end of the season is an absolutely brutal stretch. Like I said, they got to play all the AFC North teams twice in the Browns, Bengals, and Steelers, and they will also have to play the reigning champs and the revamped Chargers led by Jim Harbaugh. This is what the media has to say about it.
It's amazing to think he's never had a losing season as a head coach.
It's incredible.
When you consider the challenges of going back to 0-0 every year in a 32-team league where for every win there's a loss and you're inevitably going to not be a winning team. They have not been a losing team. There was one 8-1 season.
We know what they're capable of, but I do think the Steelers are in their class there this year to compete, upset, and really make waves in the AFC North.
Absolutely, and it's going to be fun to see what they can do, especially with that revamped quarterback position, new offensive coordinator, and just a concerted effort to be better offensively than they've been.
That's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments below how you're feeling about the Steelers as we head into week 1. And also, what you think about the Justin Fields and Russell Wilson QB battle. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. Also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.